It's funny you talk about the vaccination thing for the Buffalo Bills because Cole Beasley has a diss track and obviously the 5 days and everything that happened. Bill Belichick has come out and thrown himself right into the political fire.
Yes, he did.
I mean, Bill Belichick normally says absolutely nothing in his press conferences. He literally treats the media as if they're mushrooms.
Yep.
Let them sit under shit and don't tell them nothing and let them die, basically, is kind of how he views everything. And I don't know if that's the actual quote. There's something like that. He normally says nothing. Whenever the vaccination conversation was brought up on why he cut Cam Newton, is that why he cut Cam Newton? Colin Cowherd came out yesterday and said his sources told him that because Cam wasn't vaccinated and the 5-day thing happened, he's unreliable, which has ultimately helped lead to the decision to go with Mac over Cam. And now Urban Meyer is allegedly being investigated because vaccination status was used and who he's cutting and who he's not cutting. So the NFLPA is like, nah, you can't do that. That is, what would that be called? That'd be called...
You can't discriminate.
Discrimination.
Yeah.
That'd be discrimination. And Urban Meyer had to come out and give a quote saying, nah, we're just talking about ability, availability, blah, blah, blah. Urban Meyer is continuing to learn that you can be a dictator in college and control absolutely everything. No matter what you say, it doesn't matter because you're the gatekeeper in the NFL. Every word you say is going to be scrutinized, and there's a union you actually have to deal with who's going to fight you. Urban Meyer will get through all of this, obviously. But Bill Belichick's quote on vaccinations is going to be one that's going to get very big, I think.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick stated, and I quote, "Your implication that the vaccination solves every problem has not been substantiated. The number of players and coaches and staff members who have been infected with COVID after being vaccinated is a pretty high number. I wouldn't lose sight of that," Michael Giardi. Says Michael Giardi, when Bill Belichick was asked if the vaccination status of Cam changed his mind, I believe this was his answer.
Yeah.
The unvaccinated play into his decision, no. But him talking about that vaccination is going to become something. And I don't know if the people who are super anti the vax are going to utilize Bill Belichick as their, hey,
leader.
Bill Belichick's going to go speak for us. But he's going to have to talk more about that because he just opened a can of worms with, I believe, every media member in football and outside of football. I'm excited to see how Bill Belichick handles this entire thing. But there's, to your point, Connor, there's the vaccination thing maybe becoming a little bit of a distraction, not only for the Buffalo Bills, but maybe for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots when he has to answer questions about this.
Absolutely.
Urban Meyer is getting investigated by the NFLPA for discriminating against players that aren't vaccinated, allegedly because he said something about blah, 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 and Bill Belichick's come out and answered. If you didn't expect teams to be created with the thought of vaccination status as one of the determiners of who makes the team, who doesn't make the team, with all these protocols that are being put in place, I think you're a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, the reason...
Of course, it's a business.
Be who you
You're
can
trying to run a
afford to be.
business.
Be who you can afford to be, okay? That is the NFL to a T. Be who you can afford to be. If you're the starting quarterback and you're paid $100 million and you don't want to be vaccinated because of however you feel, and the team is going to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge around that to keep you and everything else. If you're the bottom half of the roster, though, and there's a decision to be made on whether or not, hey, our team's going to be much better without unvaccinated players, which is the protocols are being put into place basically to say that. Like, guys are going to get cut because of that. Like, that is just something that has to be understood. And I appreciate the NFLPA saying, no, you can't do that and going to bat for it and everything like that. But this is pretty obvious, I think, immediately upon these protocols being put in place that these are going to be used and decisions being made, I thought, personally.
I guess everyone probably assumed, they will look at this when they're trying to make their final rosters and you're trying to sign free agents, whoever it may be. But I'm sure they probably thought, like, no one's going to talk about it really, though, can they? And the PA is doing their job. They have to do this, but I don't think do you think anything comes of it, them investigating Urban?
The PA fucking stinks. We all agree with that, but I guess I do appreciate that they are looking into it because once you look into Urban, though, you're going to have to look into every other decision that's made for everybody that gets cut that isn't vaccinated, and then it's like, how do you determine whether or not that was the sole reason why somebody was made the team or not made the team? And it's
not going to be the sole reason, though. That's what even Urban said. Like, it's never going to be the sole reason someone's going to get cut, but it's definitely going to play. It's going to be a factor. And when you're talking about those bubble guys too, that hey, we don't know. Like, you may be active this week, not active that. There's a lot of guys that kind of sit on that line where they don't know going into each game if they're going to be active, they're going to be playing, or they're going to be one of the guys that doesn't get to dress come game day too. Like that, it all plays into it. So for people to be surprised that it was a factor, I mean, that's just naive, I think.
Well, people are pissed about it.
Yep.
Because it gives them a reason to be pissed off. But I'm happy for us to get through this time and get to the fucking regular season, which is
Hell
what
yeah.
September means. September means regular season starting.